Greetings, Samurai! Today we'll be looking at Mask of the Oni, an adventure and accessory pack for the Legend of the Five Rings Roleplaying Game. It is one of the few products in this line that comes shrink-wrapped, and it does so because it contains 3 different elements. Please do be careful when opening it, as a wayward knife can easily cut into one of the folded items. Opening it up from the back, you receive a 32-page adventure booklet, a folded map and a set of cardboard counters, plus a blank cover page designed to be thrown away. This is a shame, as the rear could easily have held a mini-map, NPC stat blocks, a handout or other game information. At least use it as a bookmark or take notes on it before recycling it. This is a full-colour double-sided map that is folded into 4. Fully opened, the map is just under 22 inches by 17 inches, or 56 by 43 centimetres, which is the same surface area as 4 of the hardback books, or about A2 in paper sizes. It is made from a high-gloss paper, which is quite thin, so consider laminating it or using it sparingly. All the labels are easy to read because the text is black on white in all capitals. On one side is a larger version of the Crab and Shadowlands Territories map found in the hardcover Shadowlands sourcebook. On the other side is a map of Daylight Castle used in the adventure. There are a couple of disappointments. Firstly, the map only utilises half the space available. It could have been rotated through 90 degrees and enlarged, but this means it would be a different scale from previous maps. As it happens, there is plenty of room to use the official tokens on the map without overcrowding, but the structure of the adventure means this kind of party splitting is unlikely. It could have held a second map like the one in the beginner box, using a location from the downloadable content adventure, or a close-up view of one of the important locations where combat takes place. But the complementing artwork of Hiruma Castle does tie in nicely and gives a sense of scale to this massive and imposing fortress. The second disappointment are the 6 concealed features like hidden passages, trapdoors and secret rooms marked in full view. Unless the GM wants to cover, then uncover the map in play, the PCs will have no chance of discovering them for themselves. The next item in this set is a single sheet of 55 shrink-wrapped cardboard tokens, which are 2mm or 1/16 of an inch thick. All but 2 are approximately 1 inch or 2.5 centimetres in diameter. For scale, we have included the American cent, the 1 krona, the 2 euro and the British penny. Like the beginner box tokens, these are double-sided with the same image on both sides, which is a shame because if you had a monochrome version on one side, you could easily see who has acted in a particular round. Maybe use a marker to differentiate these yourself. All of these images are taken from the Shadowlands sourcebook and the adventure, even though the majority of these have a Shadowlands theme, such as the goblins, Nezumi and undead. There are plenty that are suitable for NPCs and player characters too, with some but not all of the new clan school images being used. These tokens do a great job of supporting the adventure, the DLC and the Shadowlands book in general, with plenty of appropriate crab NPCs, skeletal bushi, undead peasants, lost, Nezumi, a Gasha Dokoro and goblins galore. Unlike the beginner box goblins, each of these is unique, which somehow makes them appear more cunning and dangerous than a collection of clones. And don't forget about the titular Oni. There is guidance in the adventure about using the tokens to represent multiple creatures and applying the NPC squad rules from page 317 of the core book. Like all tokens, they are made from printed paper on either side of a cardboard sandwich, and so they will pick up dirt and grease from your fingers, becoming tacky and grimy before disintegrating altogether. See our video about coin capsules on how you can protect these tokens. These use the same 26mm and 51mm sizings. The final part of this product is a 32-page softcover booklet containing the adventure Mask of the Oni. The 32 pages include the front and rear covers, but virtually all the rest is adventure. There are no new rules or player options introduced here. We will try not to give away too many spoilers, but this video is definitely designed for the GM and not anyone wishing to play the adventure. Like other scenarios, the blurb on the rear gives away plenty of information, so you may wish to keep this away from your players. The first surprise is that this adventure follows on from Dark Tides, the adventure that came with the GM kit. You may recall that a certain antagonist was left at large at the end of that adventure, and this is an opportunity to pick up their trail and finish things off. There is plenty of information on how to link this adventure to the events in Dark Tides, and an equal amount of what to do if you don't have access to that product. Events don't follow on directly, and there is sufficient scope for you to have played other adventures in between, or roleplay your way along their trail south to the Crablands. If you did want to play out this investigation, one disappointment is that all the locations mentioned do not appear on any maps. Not the main map, the map included in the adventure, or even the Emerald Empire map. This could have been a good use for the extra space on the Hiruma Castle side of the fold-out map. You also don't need to own the Shadowlands sourcebook either. If you are familiar with the Shadowlands from previous Legend of the Five Rings products, there is enough support in here in terms of background, mechanics, theme, style and guidance to allow you to pick up the adventure and go. In fact, the designers go out of their way to cram in as many reminders and helpful tips as they can, often repeating things from earlier chapters in sidebars so that you don't have to keep flicking backwards and forwards trying to find them. The adventure is also extremely flexible. The Shadowlands is stereotypically seen as a place of death and slaughter, with taint and corruption inevitable. There is advice on what to do if your party can't handle or doesn't enjoy combat, or dealing with the permanent results of corruption. Another cool aspect is that the adventure isn't just a linear conveyor belt of encounters. There is a starting point with plenty of NPCs to talk to, and a dramatic climax. The journey across the Shadowlands and back is left entirely to the GM. There are plenty of suggested encounters, many with multiple ways of resolving them, that you can pick from to make the journey as long or as short or as deadly and taxing as you wish. Great emphasis is put on how unnerving and unsettling and just how plain wrong the Shadowlands feels as a place, rather than being simply vicious and bloody. The ending as well isn't just a case of defeat bad guy X. There are a few different interests at play, and the GM is free to customize the different antagonists' plans and actions according to the story they wish to tell. Likewise, there are different degrees of success or even failure possible, with plenty of consequences suggested for different outcomes. There is no follow-up adventure recommended, but this was the case with Dark Tide, so who knows what will appear in future. You will need the core book, as most of the suggested encounters use the basic stat blocks not reproduced here, which is inconvenient, particularly as this product comes with a blank sheet of paper that could have been used in this way. Likewise, it is worth familiarizing yourself with the rules for the Shadowlands Taint on page 127 of the main rulebook, and probably discussing its implications for the characters and role-playing opportunities with your players beforehand. If you don't want to use the adventure, then the map and tokens are useful in their own right for any Crab or Shadowlands themed games. There is a fully detailed Maho Tsugai and powerful Oni, fully statted, and some Crab NPC descriptions which you may wish to use in your own game. Plus details of the history and geography of Hiruma Castle and many undocumented features for you to use too. Finally, you have the credits page, and it is always pleasing to see the artists and playtesters getting a mention. If you find yourself bitten by the Shadowlands bug or want to extend this adventure into a number of sessions, then there is a free 24-page supplement with additional content that can be inserted into the player's journey across the Shadowlands. Likewise, there is a 144-page sourcebook that details the whole of the Crab Clan, the Nezumi, and the Shadowlands with heaps of deadly adversaries if the PCs love skirmishing. plus plenty of exciting locations if you wanted to extend the journey or return to the Shadowlands, as well as a much more detailed explanation of corruption and role-playing corrupted characters. That's it, Samurai! We hope you found the video helpful and informative, and we will see you next time.